Ooh, what a delightful little morning we got ahead, my dearest readers. 3 articles in one day? Oh my, somebody's been busy. It's almost like this city can't help itself, stumbling from one misfortune to the next, like a clumsy little jester dancing toward a pit. And oh, I do love a good show. Now what? Oh, what? Could the fine journalists of our grand city be bringing to our breakfast tables today? Some little tragedy? A scandal, perhaps? Or maybe something a bit more delicious? A tale of shadows creeping where they shouldn't? Of secrets best left buried? Well, darlings, let's not keep Mr. Twaddle waiting. Bring forth the first course of today's feast, and let's savor what's in store.
Title: Beware the false idols. Osirion's deception threatens Shory Empire's women. In a startling revelation, recent intelligence reports have uncovered a nefarious scheme perpetrated by the false idols of Osirion, aiming to steal the women of the great Shory Empire. This sinister plot threatens the very fabric of our society and demands immediate action from all loyal citizens. The Shory Empire, known for its cultural richness, technological advancement, and reverence for the divine, now faces a grave threat to its way of life. Osirion, a neighboring land shrouded in darkness and deceit, has devised a devious plan to undermine the moral foundation of our society.
Reports indicate that agents of Osirion, under the guise of false idols and deceitful promises, have been luring unsuspecting women away from their homes and families in the Shory Empire. These women, seduced by the false promise of wealth and power, are being ensnared into the clutches of Osirion's sinister forces.
The great Shory Empire, founded on principles of honor, integrity, and loyalty to the divine, cannot tolerate such vile acts of treachery. Our women are the pillars of our society, embodying the virtues of strength, wisdom, and grace. To see them preyed upon by the agents of darkness is an affront to everything we hold dear. It is imperative that all citizens remain vigilant and steadfast in the face of this threat. We must protect our women from the snares of Osirion's false idols and ensure that they remain safe within the embrace of our noble society. Any who consort with the enemies of the Empire will be met with swift and decisive justice. Furthermore, we call upon our allies and neighbors to stand with us against the insidious machinations of Osirion. Together, we can thwart their wicked plans and preserve the sanctity of our way of life. In this time of crisis, let us rally behind the banner of the great Shory Empire, united in our resolve to defend our women, our values, and our divine heritage. Together, we will emerge victorious against the forces of darkness and ensure a future of prosperity and righteousness for all. Fang.
Well. The world does have a way of spinning itself into trouble, don't it? One moment, everything's fine and dandy, and the next, why, the very foundation of our glorious empire is under siege. And who is to blame this time? Why, those wicked, wretched deceivers across the sand stealing away our dear, sweet lady. Now, my dear little lambs, I ask you, who can you trust in such a perilous time? The city's grand and noble leaders? Oh, I'm sure they mean well, bless their little hearts, but we all know. Good intentions don't keep a body safe from the creeping dark. Now to them. Lucky for you, old Mr. Twaddle's got just the thing. Something to keep the wickedness at bay, to guard what's precious, to ensure that when all the smoke clears, you're still standing. Oh yes, y'all best come running to me soon, 'cause what's brewing in these stray...
This ain't nothing but the beginning.
Well now, ain't this a charming twist? Here we are, just barely weathering one storm. and already another's rising on the horizon. Ain't life just a delightful carousel of chaos? You see, my friends, the world's a funny place. One minute, everything's dandy, and the next, people find themselves in the midst of unfortunate little mishaps. Now, just wait till you hear this one. It's a tale that'll have you on the edge of your seat, or perhaps scrambling to protect your own interests. Either way, it's sure to entertain. Go on then, read on, and see just how deliciously things unravel in the city today. And remember, when the wind's howling and the tides turn, well, y'all might want to know just who to turn to for shelter. But I do digress. Go ahead, darling. See what's in store next.
Headline: Terror Strikes Heaven's Loft. Dawaan Jr. S. Self-centered response amidst tragedy. Subheadline: Reporter wrestles with narcissist's ego during community's despair. In the quaint aftermath of the chilling events at Heaven's Loft, where chaos and dread seized the hearts of patrons as a red-eyed elf unleashed terror upon the unsuspecting, a disconcerting tale unfolds. While the township grappled with the weight of the calamity, one man sought to eclipse the somber narrative for his own aggrandizement: Dawaan Jr. Eyewitnesses recounted tales of survival and despair, their voices trembling with the weight of the night's horrors. Yet, Dawaan Jr.'s responses remained steeped in self-interest, his focus undeterred by the gravity of the situation. It was akin to witnessing a grand spectacle, he remarked, his tone betraying a hint of self-satisfaction. But even amidst the tumult, I couldn't help but ponder upon the ramifications for my own standing in the community. Despite the reporter's persistent efforts to redirect the conversation toward the collective trauma, Dawaan Jr. persisted in weaving his narcissistic narrative. Tragedy oft reveals the character within, he mused, seemingly unfazed by the anguish around him. And in such moments, one cannot help but feel destined for a loftier fate. As constabulary forces worked tirelessly to bring the elusive perpetrator to justice and soothe the wounds of the afflicted, Dawaan Jr.'s self-centered antics serve as a stark reminder of the perils of unchecked ego in the face of misfortune. In this era of communal distress, it behooves us to prioritize unity and support rather than succumb to the allure of personal glory. As the township endures the aftermath of the ordeal, let us rally together in solidarity, embracing compassion and resilience as we navigate the uncertain path ahead. Only through collective strength and empathy can we emerge from the shadows of tragedy, forging a brighter future for generations to come. By Mara Lucan.
My. How entertaining this little story has turned out to be. Chaos, terror, death, the perfect ingredients for a night to remember. But in the midst of all that delightful turmoil, who do we have stepping forward to steal the show? None other than Dawaan Jr. Now, I'll admit there's a certain charm to a man who insists that everything, no matter how tragic, is all about his own greatness. I mean, truly the audacity. While the poor souls around him are rattled to the core, he's up there talking about his loftier fate and the character he's showing. A man destined for greatness, even as the walls crumble around him. Funny thing, isn't it? The world's in flames, and there he is, proud as a rooster, strutting about, barely able to tear his eyes away from his own reflection. You gotta admire that kind of determined delusion, if not the man himself. Oh, I've crossed paths with men like him before. They're so sure that the world's just waiting for them to take center stage, even as everything else falls apart. And it's almost funny to watch. Almost. In the end, the spotlight won't be on Dawaan Jr. It never is. He's just another puppet in a game too big for him to even see. But someone has to be there when the real storm hits, don't they? If you need someone who knows how to ride out the storm, well, I think you know where to find me. There's more coming, after all, and I always keep an eye on the next play. So this is what we've got today, huh? Another delightful little dose of chaos, just what the doctor ordered. A beast tearing through the streets, blood spattering the walls. Truly a spectacle worth witnessing. I do love a good mess, don't you? Of course, this city's never quite short on drama, but this is something else entirely. A creature, an unknown menace, wreaking havoc like a star in its own show. Who could resist watching? The terror, the screams, the desperation, it's just such good material for a story, don't you think? And yet, it's always the same question, isn't it? Who's left standing when all the screaming dies down? Who makes it through the wreckage to take the credit? But here's the real fun. There's always more to the story than what the masses see. The real game, the real action. You have to know where to look. Sure, the beast is terrifying, but it's not the only danger lurking, not by a long shot. When things get messy, opportunity knocks. And some of us know how to answer the call. You can watch, wait, and cheer for the hero if you like. But when the storm hits, that's when the game begins. And I'll be ready for whatever's next. Let's see who cracks under pressure, shall we?
Headline: Beloved Yagu Baku's Funtimes Extravaganza, shut down by 055 SLEF unit.
Sub-headline: Community outraged as heavy-handed police tactics target children's joy.
In a move that has sparked outrage across the community, the cherished children's entertainment store Yagu Baku's Funtimes Extravaganza has been abruptly shut down by the notorious 055 SLEF unit. Known for their aggressive tactics, the unit's actions have left families bewildered and children heartbroken, as one of the town's most beloved establishments is forced to close its doors. The shutdown of Yagu Baku's, a store that has been a beacon of joy and creativity for generations, was carried out with little explanation, leaving many to question the motives behind the police's heavy-handed approach. Parents and children alike gathered outside the store, their faces a mixture of confusion and sorrow, as officers dismantled displays and sealed off the entrance. "It's a travesty," exclaimed a distraught mother, clutching her young daughter's hand. "Yagu Baku's has been a part of our lives for years. The SLEF have no right to take this away from us without a valid reason." The 055 unit, known for their controversial methods, has faced criticism in the past for their apparent disregard for community sentiment. Their decision to target a children's entertainment store has only fueled existing tensions between the police and residents, with many accusing the unit of overstepping their bounds. These are supposed to be officers of the law, yet they come into our community and shut down a place that brings happiness to our children, said another parent. "It's an abuse of power, plain and simple." Despite repeated requests for clarification, the 055 unit has remained tight-lipped about the reasons behind their actions, further fueling speculation and mistrust. As parents search for answers, the loss of Yagu Baku's Funtimes Extravaganza leaves a void in the community, and a generation of children is left without their favorite place to play and explore. As the dust settles on this troubling incident, the community is left to ponder the future of a beloved entertainment store and to question the role of a police force that seems more focused on enforcement than empathy. In the face of such heavy-handed tactics, one thing is clear: the spirit of Yagu Baku's well live on in the hearts of those who cherished it, even as its doors remain shuttered. Part 1. by J.K. Foam.
Isn't this just a treat, dear reader? The infamous Yagu Baku's Funtimes Extravaganza, shut down. Can you feel it? That sweet, sweet taste of justice served cold? I must say, I'm elated by the news. The good old Yagu Baku. Always a name that made me cringe. What an utter farce that place was. I mean, really, what were we all doing? Tolerating that wretched show for children? The distractions? The pandering? It was practically a sanctuary for the likes of him, Yagu Baku. Who knew what darkness brewed under that roof? But alas, the 055 SLEF unit, oh, they surely know how to handle matters like this. They did a great service to the people today. A wonderful, wonderful service. Poor Yagu Baku, though. A shame, really? Though, who am I kidding? I'm positively thrilled to see that his Funtimes Extravaganza has met such a fate. As for the children, oh, the poor dears, they'll bounce back. They'll find new amusements, better amusements. And those 055 SLEF officers, I might just light a candle and pray for their health. So earnest and devoted to the cause, wouldn't you say? Perhaps a little divine intervention will keep them well enough to deal with the next disaster that comes their way. But of course, don't forget, their job's far from done. It's always a charming thing watching the chaos unfold. And there's so much more to come, my friends. Such fun, isn't it? Why, this city's just filled with delightful surprises, and if you need to make it through the coming storm, you know where to find me. Don't let a little thing like fate get in your way, eh? Bye.